can I borrow your jacket? That classmate of mine, who's practically begging at my feet, is a notorious blonde bombshell in our class, or in simpler terms, she's quite a rebel. Why is she doing this to a normal, or even more plain than normal, person like me? Apparently, she forgot to wear that thing women usually wear. Looking at her pleading with such urgency, I couldn't help but give in. My name is Jacob Miller. I am a high school senior, like any other. By the time you reach your senior year in high school, you're probably thinking about college entrance exams. Being that my only talent is studying, of course, I'm doing my best to prepare for the SAT. When I go home, I study, and when I go to my tutoring sessions, I study. And of course, I study at school. But when the class assignment was shuffled in junior year, I ended up in the same class with an unexpected person to watch out for. Her name is Alyssa Parker. She is adored by everyone, the delinquent gal. It's worth repeating that she is a delinquent, otherwise known as a rebel. Her flamboyant blonde hair, long nails, and short skirts, and never tried to follow the school rules. And yet, she always manages to just barely avoid being held back, due to her attendance and grades remaining just good enough to pass each year. Moreover, since she participates enthusiastically only in school events, teachers are unable to suspend her from school even if they give her a warning. In actuality, she doesn't cause much trouble inside the school. But there are many rumors about Alyssa. She's undefeated in fights, or that she single-handedly took down a girls' gang, or that she's been involved with countless men. She's definitely the type I'd rather not associate with. Being a studious geek, I doubt Alyssa even knows I exist. Even though we're in the same class, we rarely talk. Her constant chatter during class is honestly stressful, but other than that, she doesn't interfere with me. I was not approached for conversation, and the semester ended just like that. Then time passed, and it was the middle of the second term. The second term is typically when school events like school travels are held, but third year we don't do anything that formal. However, our high school, and usually, has adopted a system of classroom duty rotation. It's a system where a boy and a girl pair are chosen by drawing lots, and they perform tasks like unlocking the classroom in the morning, airing it out, and erasing the blackboard. I usually arrive at school early, so the duties aren't a bother to me. But the problem is, I was paired with Alyssa. She probably won't come. After all, she's usually either sprinting into the classroom at the last minute or she's late. Moreover, it's raining outside. I would probably have to do all the tasks alone today. With that thought, I unlocked the classroom. I waited until the time the duty person should arrive, but as expected, she didn't show up. So, I unlocked the classroom alone, aired it out, and was erasing the blackboard when I could hear someone running hurriedly. Was it the classroom duty person from the next class who was late? As I was thinking that way. Eek, for real? You're already here, I'm sorry, I'm 10 minutes late. Unbelievably, Alyssa, the notorious latecomer, dashed into the classroom. Taken aback by her unexpected appearance, I dropped the eraser I was holding. Though she was 10 minutes late, it was still earlier than her usual arrival time. And now, she realized that she was late and apologizing to me. Wait, Alyssa. As I stood there in bewilderment, she tossed her near empty backpack onto her desk and asked, "Oh, you've finished everything already, you're fast. Is there anything left to do?" Well, I haven't changed the water in the vase yet." "Okay, I'll do that." Alyssa grabbed the vase and exited the classroom. It was a shock to me that Alyssa had shown up at all, and I only noticed she was soaking wet as she was leaving the room. She must have run to school, thinking she was going to be late. I hoped she wouldn't catch a cold. And yet, she took an extraordinarily long time to come back, even though she just went to change the water in the vase. I wondered if something happened, but we weren't exactly friends, so I sat down at my desk and started studying. Then, 10 minutes later, hey, I heard a voice from behind me. It was coming from the door at the back of the classroom. Turning around, I saw her looking awkwardly in my direction. Holding a vase, when our eyes met, she asked, "Will you listen to my request?" A favor, from her, for me. I turned to her in confusion. Upon closer inspection, her face was flushed. On top of that, she was acting strangely. What? Then she put the vase on a nearby desk, quickly slid over to me. And then she suddenly bowed down deeply. "What? Can I borrow your jacket?" she exclaimed in a voice almost like a shout. "My jacket? Why? If you're wet, you can change into gym clothes." That was what I thought. She was wet and wanted to change clothes. It's fall now. There's a risk of catching a cold. So, I thought gym clothes would be a better option. I suggested that to her. But she didn't look up. Silence lingered for a while. If it was the usual bubbly and noisy Alyssa, she would have replied something like, "Oh, that might be a good idea." Something was wrong. As I was thinking that, she murmured, "Yay, that's it. Huh. I forgot to put that on, because I was in a hurry. I thought I was going to be late." What? She dropped a shocking statement in desperation. Being at a sensitive age, I was too surprised and let out a cry. By that, she meant the innerwear that supports her bust, right? I was confused. But then I understood why she couldn't look up. She just couldn't. Because her uniform was wet and see-through. Nothing stood out on her see-through back. There's no sign of that which should be there. That means she's wearing nothing underneath her uniform. I hurriedly took off my jacket, draped it over her, and then turned my back on her. Indeed, there was no point in wearing her gym clothes in this state. The blazer was thick and would easily hide the front. You can wear this. Is your home far away? One stop by train. In that case, why don't you go home wearing that for now? If you leave now, you should be able to come back by second period. It would indeed be tough for a girl of her age to attend class in this condition. Especially since there's PE class today. When I said that, she whispered, "Thank you." Then she grabbed her bag and left the classroom. Of course, afterward, I was asked by my friends and teachers, "What happened to your jacket?" But if they knew that I lent it to Alyssa, I would have to explain the whole situation. So, in a split second, I blurted out a stupid joke with a straight face. I got mugged. Since I'm not the type to say such things often, it was well received by those around me. I lied to the teacher, saying I didn't manage to get my laundry done in time. But my silly joke would later come back to haunt me. Because Alyssa appeared during the second period. Even though I said that, honestly, I thought Alyssa would play hooky today. She was attending class properly that day. "Oh, Jacob, I'll wash and return your jacket tomorrow, okay?" Alyssa shouted out loud, and coupled with my joke, a surreal joke about Jacob, who got mugged by Alyssa, spread like wildfire. And when Alyssa, who had heard that, got extremely carried away and said, "Jacob, lend me your notebook." "Hey, hold on, that one's not finished yet." She started to tease me like this, and people around me started to tease, "Jacob is being mugged by Alyssa again today." So, I created a notebook for Alyssa so that she could take it. Getting it back every time is a hassle, and while my notes are verbatim from class, the notebook is simplified so even Alyssa can understand it. They say you need 3 times the knowledge to teach someone, and that's exactly true. When trying to break things down so that they can be understood at Alyssa's academic level, I felt my lack of knowledge. I need a good vocabulary, too. Making Alyssa's notebook was fun in my life of repeating the same studying every day. I wrote thinking that even Alyssa would understand if I wrote this clearly, but she would always ask, "Hey, Jacob, what does this mean? I don't understand just this part." Every time she said that, I was filled with determination to make a notebook that was even easier to understand, and that she wouldn't say she didn't understand. Well, initially, I had just prepared a notebook that was simplified very basically. But, you see, I tend to get a bit obsessed. I just can't help but put a lot of effort into it. After all, if I'm going to show it to someone, it would be better if it can help them study. That's why I ended up getting a bit too fired up. But it also helped me study, and I had fun doing it, so it's all good. Thanks to Alyssa, I've had more opportunities to talk with my classmates too. As we continued like this, time flew by, and the second semester was about to end. By the time we finished our final exams and were just waiting for them to be returned, I came down with a fever and had to stay in bed. There's not much class left after the exams are returned, so I thought it was kind of a blessing in disguise that I fell sick during this period. Fortunately, my high school is near my home. In fact, I chose this high school mainly because it's near my home. I figured I'd have someone bring my test home. Then I could check the parts I got wrong. With that in mind, I sent a message to a friend. "Hey there, are you okay, Jacob?" Surprisingly, the one who came was Alyssa. "Why, Alyssa?" I was shocked when I got a reply from my friend saying, "Alyssa has taken your test." It seems Alyssa came to deliver my test in place of my friend. "Sorry for the trouble, thank you." "No worries. I also had something to tell you, Jacob." As I sat up, Alyssa handed me the test paper. The score was about as expected, and I was satisfied, but upon closer inspection, there were several other answer sheets behind mine. The scores were 70 and 68 for the math and English tests, respectively. This wasn't my answer sheet. Incredibly, that answer sheet belonged to Alyssa. Alyssa was more prone to failing grades. Moreover, I distinctly remember Alyssa failing consistently in math and English, the subjects Alyssa struggled with the most. Forgetting about my fever, I was so surprised my eyes nearly popped out. Seeing this, Alyssa flashed a wide grin. "Remember the notes you gave me, Jacob? They were incredibly easy to understand, and you even explained parts I didn't get, so my grades shot up thanks to that. It's all thanks to you, Jacob, thank you." With that, Alyssa wore a sparkling bright smile, unlike anything I had ever seen. Seeing that smile, I felt extremely happy. Of course, my part in lending the notes contributed to this, but it was Alyssa's hard work studying that ultimately reflected in the results. The notes were really easy to understand and interesting. I found myself studying at home before I knew it, and I wanted you, Jacob, to be the first to know about my test results. That's why I came over. Haha, you did great, Alyssa. From usually scoring around 30, that's incredible. Exactly. Now I can surprise my family. Having said that, Alyssa turned to me again and suddenly bowed in appreciation. "You know what? I know I'm being presumptuous, but could you teach me next time?" Well, sure. In my mind, I had already been teaching Alyssa when I was showing my notes. But for Alyssa, it seemed different, and being directly asked for help was pleasing. So, once I recovered and returned to school, I started supervising Alyssa's study after school. After all, I would only be studying if I went home anyway. Since I started teaching Alyssa, my own careless mistakes reduced, and my grades improved too. But what surprised me was that Alyssa was smart. Thinking back, besides math and English, Alyssa barely managed to pass the other subjects, avoiding failing grades to prevent being held back a year. In other words, if Alyssa actually studied, Alyssa could improve considerably. While it's not realistic to catch up several years' worth of studies in a few months. But after developing a habit of studying, perhaps during winter break at my house, Alyssa managed to score over 70 in math and English, over 80 in other subjects, and gained the ability to attend an average university. Oh, by the way, there was absolutely nothing fishy about our study sessions at my house. I'm a guy, after all. I had some expectations, but surprisingly, Alyssa's defense was tough. Rumors of her being involved with multiple guys turned out to be completely false. The rumor that she never loses a fight seems to be true, though. If I'm going to kiss, it has to be with my lover. That's what she used to say while fiddling with her nails. So I was not in her eyes. But then, out of the blue, "Would you mind if I kiss you, Jacob?" At our high school graduation ceremony, while everyone was signing yearbooks, Alyssa said that to me. "What, you mean? Ha ha ha, you're too insensitive. Even I would feel something after spending so much time with you." Alyssa laughed as she said that, but her face, it was redder than the time she forgot to put that. She looked so adorable that I pulled her out of the bustling classroom during our graduation ceremony and took her to the relatively empty courtyard. What? Is this what I think it is? A confession? Alyssa was trying to hide her embarrassment with her usual light-hearted remarks, but her eyes were darting around and her face was beet red all the way to her ears. She's not really one for serious talks. I knew that, but as a guy, I wanted to look cool. Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, I like you, Alyssa. When I said that, Alyssa started to mumble. No, she was grinning and trying to hide it, and she made a weird face while saying, "I'm happy. This isn't a dream, is it?" with a shy smile. I gathered up all my courage and kissed her. It was my first kiss, and it's still fresh in my mind. Even now, 10 years later. Hey, what are you looking at? My high school yearbook. It's been 10 years since then. Now, we're both 28, married, and living together in a small apartment. Although we'll be moving into a house soon. So, while packing, I found the yearbook and started reminiscing about old times. Yikes, that's my embarrassing past. No, throw it away right now. All your photos are from when you were a Jersey Shore girl, aren't they, Alyssa? Stop, don't look. Alyssa, who used to be a flashy party girl, had transformed into a sophisticated college student after high school graduation. We went to different colleges but would teach each other the classes we attended, sharing our knowledge. Of course, we went on regular dates too. So for Alyssa, who had left her partying days behind, the yearbook was a reminder of her embarrassing past. But for me, it's a cherished memento, and I have no plans to throw it away. Hey, don't get too excited, you'll startle our baby. That's true, Alyssa said as she rubbed her belly. She's working hard to nurture the fruit of our love. That's something I can't do. So instead, I'm determined to protect Alyssa and our soon-to-be-born child. With that resolve, I closed the high school yearbook and gently stored it in a large box full of family albums. So, how was that? Your subscription to our channel encourages us to continue producing content. See you in the next